But we wanted to just take a few minutes to talk about industrial hemp this morning because this is a building material that could mitigate a lot of the moisture problems that these guys have been talking about. And it's being used in other countries, Europe, England is doing a lot with it, Canada. And my partner and I, Emily Peyton, have formed a small startup company called Hempfully Green that is geared towards building homes and buildings with industrial hemp. We're working with a company called American Lime Technology, which is based in Chicago, that is importing the materials right now.
So what's the component? I mean, is it the insulation? Is it the wall? Is it wall? Is the wall insulation?
The wall, yeah, the wall material. You can actually form this material right around a 2x4 construction. And this is the interior of the hemp plant. It's called the herd or shiv. And this is the throwaway part of the plant. It used to be burned in the field just to get rid of it until they found that because of its very absorbent nature, it could be used for animal bedding, and it could also be used to build homes. So it's combined with lime and water, and it has many great properties.
You wouldn't use a vapor barrier with this. The moisture travels through, which is very important, and also it uses about 75% less fuel to heat buildings like this. They're building in England with homes, they're not even putting in heating systems, or they're using very small amount of heat. So moving forward with industrial hemp is extremely valuable for Vermont. It's extremely valuable as a leadership role in the environmental crisis that we have. So I made these short videos because Betty has asked me not to talk. See these cars?
Yeah.
See, this car is a prototype built from industrial hemp. The sheathing is from industrial hemp. We could be building those bicycles. We could be building anything plastic with industrial hemp. And these are other products. I got these for you. This is some paper made from hemp. It's time. It's high time we went back to industrial hemp. And let's see, I put everything on there. This is what a hemp field looks like.
Thomas Edison was a pioneer in industrial.
Yeah, I was on a VPR show many years ago promoting the legislation, and obviously it's in conflict with federal law. That's the issue. So we did pass the bill.
You did.
But it doesn't even take effect until the feds make it lawful. Isn't that the gist of it?
Yes.
We need a
Okay.
waiver.
Yeah, we need to get a waiver.
One of the things that we're really excited about is that we have linked up with a farmer cooperative over in Shaftesbury, Vermont, that has been growing sweet sorghum for fuel organically. And sweet sorghum is very similar to industrial hemp. And they have proprietary machinery that they're using right now. So they could start growing it, processing it, and utilizing it, and actually making a profit on it. So we have the capability right now, and the best thing about this is it's duplicatable. This could be being done all over Vermont, all over the country for that matter. But the one issue is the federal regulation, and I have Eric Lineback here, who lives in Dummerston, who's been associated with Vote Hemp, that just wanted to give a brief overview of where his efforts are at.
Can I ask, why is this legal? I mean, I don't know, but the problem is you can smoke it, right? And so is that a...
No.
Well, we have been for the last year educating people about industrial hemp.
But why is
That's the issue.
Why is this legal?
We can import it. We can't grow it. We want to build. We're going to build with it. But we're going to import it from Canada. We want to build with local. And if you want to put a torch to this, this is put a torch to it. It doesn't light. The fire insurance goes down. So this is really important to move forward with.
Okay.
It's
So you can
valuable.
grow it in Canada, but you can't grow it here.
Right.
Well, Vermont says yes.
No, I
We just have to
understand.
have the courage to go forward and say, we're gonna do the right thing, where the DEA has phony policy, wrong policy.
Right, no, I
On many
understand.
things.
Yeah.
All right.
Jump in, Eric.
On that note,
You're gonna jump in now.
save Jeanette White before she says anything else.
It not only helps her here.
Okay.
Well, so my name's Eric Lineback, live in Dummerston. I've been working on this issue for about 16 years now. Vote Hemp is a national leading organization, nonprofit that works on hemp advocacy, trying to change the state and federal laws so that our farmers can once again grow hemp. Hemp was a major commodity in this country and around the world until pretty much just recently in the grand scheme of things. So the reason those products are not illegal is because the hemp plant is different from the marijuana plant. They are related, different
Well, I
species.
think
You
we're
guys
pretty
know this
familiar with
because,
it,
yeah,
'cause
exactly.
we went
So
through the drill, yeah.
I know Mr. Galbraith was not, but so two very different species, like a German Shepherd and a Poodle. And you can measure that. It's based on
Chihuahua and a sled dog.
whatever analogy you want. It makes the point. So we've been working on this issue for a long time, and there's currently federal legislation, HR 1831. This is actually the 7th year there's been active federal legislation, 4 different bills, each going 2 years. Has not ever made it so much out of committee, even gotten a committee hearing. And where do you think that bill sits? It sits in a judiciary subcommittee on crime, terrorism, and homeland security. This is an agricultural issue. This is not a drug or crime issue. This is an economic development issue. This is a jobs issue. This is a health and an environment issue. And you guys know this. So the feds aren't moving on this. There have been certain folks trying. This current bill has over 30 co-sponsors, but it's not moving anywhere. And with the federal government's unwillingness or inability to push this issue forward, it's really up to the states to continue
Let me ask you
doing.
this, if we remove the prohibition, that, well, the effective date of the bill, it doesn't take effect until the feds authorize it. If we removed that effective date, would you grow it and take a chance that the
There are farmers here ready and willing. Absolutely.
notwithstanding the federal,
That there are farmers that we personally know that would be willing to take that risk, and that will then, of course, depending on what action the feds may or may not take, will lead us to a lawsuit opportunity. By the way, hemp foods, you can go to the co-op and buy all sorts of stuff right now.
Right.
Waffles, bread, ice cream, substitute milk, substitute clothing. Of course, my pants are made out of hemp. There was a store here in town that unfortunately just recently closed because of general economic.
so I think we get the drift of it. Senator Doyle has a
Three
question.
quick questions. To Emily, are you running for governor again?
Yes, I am.
Okay, number 2, is that a hemp
Sure,
shirt?
yes it is.
Okay, and is it true that Peter Welch is a co-sponsor of legislation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I want to quickly read Senator.
Emily, would you see, can you get a hemp burqa?
I did get a burqa, and
Absolutely.
no, I don't want to get a hemp burqa, but I would like to get a hemp car. And I would like to get hemp building going. I would like to get hemp on trailers, you know, those old trailers. I want to make hemp homes for people where they use less fuel and don't have chemical
I want to make
issues.
that shell out of hemp.
Yes, cool.
We need to talk. Yeah.
So what we are proposing is for a pilot program here in Vermont, if we could get a waiver similar to the waiver that Vermont is requesting for health care, similar to the exemption for small hydro permitting that I think you have sponsored legislation for. So a waiver for industrial hemp, so that we could go forward in a pilot program and show the federal government that all of the worries that they are building up as a case against growing hemp are not there.
Right.
And
We got you. All right. Anyone else?
I just, to your point about the actual law, I want to quickly read the last, as you pointed out, there are 3 ways this bill, the Department of Agriculture will be able to actually put regulations in place and start issuing licenses. One is if the Congress changes the law or changes their, makes an exception, et cetera. The other is if the DEA reinterprets the law to allow hemp.
Right.
And they have the ability to do that. The third, this is what's interesting, and I'm going to read it here so I get it exactly right. It says, or the DEA takes affirmative steps to approve or deny a permit sought by the holder of a license to grow industrial hemp in another state. Well, that situation exists. There are two farmers, the only state, there are 9 states that have legalized hemp, including Vermont. The only state that's actually gone through the process of promulgating regulations and issuing licenses is North Dakota, and I believe you actually had some folks from North Dakota testifying when this bill was in process. So their law originally required a DEA permit. They changed that after they realized the DEA was going to drag their feet. They applied for, so 2 farmers applied in 2007. Still haven't gotten an answer from the DEA. That, of course, was to plant hemp in 2007. They each spent $3,500 or so in application fees. The DEA cashed those checks. I would argue that by the mere act of cashing those checks, that is taking affirmative steps to approve or deny an application. Vermont can get this going.
Hi, this is Emily Peyton for Hempfully Green. We'll be publishing a public notice in the Montpelier Times-Argus and the Rutland Herald on Earth Day. This notice will be the people contracting directly with the government to improve policy that benefits all. So please pick up a copy of either of those 2 papers on April 22nd, 2012. Thank you. Many people still are confused about the difference between marijuana and industrial hemp. Let me begin by describing the hemp plant. Now, hemp grows in very tight configuration of between 250 to 300 plants per square yard, much tighter than corn. And because of this tight configuration, it competes for sunlight and grows very tall, very fast, and the leaf canopy that's created makes such shade that it chokes out all the weeds. And the roots go down very deep in the earth. The marijuana version of the cannabis plant is encouraged to grow one plant that becomes very bushy. And while their leaves have similar shape, their chemical makeup does not. You would not want to smoke anything of the industrial end of the species. It would give you a huge headache. Whereas, of course, if you smoked the marijuana end, it would be intoxicating. It's very important to educate ourselves about what industrial hemp can do for us. We are, as a country, at least a decade behind Europe and behind England, France, China, Canada, who are using the industrial hemp plant for excellent purposes, specifically environmentally beneficial building and bioplastics products. We need to catch up. We need to become quite profoundly educated about all the uses of the cannabis plant. Hello, I'm Emily Peyton. I'll be running again this session, primarily to bring an awareness and to bring change in the industrial hemp policy. So please look into the paper, the Montpelier Times-Argus, and the Rutland Herald for a public notice that will be published on Earth Day, April 22nd, on Sunday. Thank you very much.